And now that everyone is refreshed on what happened last time, welcome back to Fashion Design with Hannah. Today we'll be going over part of what happened in the last video, which is how to attach a hemband to a jacket. This works for both lined and unlined jackets and will leave them looking very nice and clean finished. This is the method that I learned as an FIT student, and I haven't seen it anywhere online, so I figured I would share my knowledge both for fashion design students who are learning it for the first time and for those who casually are interested in how things are made. I will also be going over a sewing machine giveaway later on in this video, so stay tuned for that. For now, let's get over to the tutorial. To start with finishing the jacket front edge, you'll want to make a facing, which will go usually about 1 inch or a little bit more depending on where you want the top stitching to land when you finish it, and the hemband. You'll add a facing first and it'll come right to the hemband seam, and then you'll do the hemband pattern. So you'll see here that what I did with Klondike's vest, who is my little Shih Tzu, I added the facing to the front. I just sewed it right sides together as you normally do, and then I turned it back. And then I'll add on the hemband. So I'm going to sew the hemband pieces together, both back and front, so that way they're all one long strip, and then I'll go to attach. So now that your hemband is all in one long strip, we can go ahead and attach it. I would recommend top stitching down the side seams. It's totally up to you, but I top stitch them down because I need my fabric to be as thin as possible at the side seams because I have a home sewing machine and they can't take very thick fabrics. Plus, this top stitching goes along with the traditional denim detail of top stitching along the seams. So let's get to the attaching. If you're like me and you decide to have an unlined jacket, make sure that your facing is nice and clean before you attach the hemband. So as you can see on a regular unlined jacket, the facing just has a turn back and is top stitched down, which gives you this look over here. And this is what it looks like as it is being sewn. So I just did a little turn back, pinned it down, and now I'm going to top stitch it all the way down. And then I'll attach the hemband. So my pin box dropped, and if that's not one of the saddest things a sewer can experience, I don't know what is. Other than maybe a project completely being destroyed. Here's the nice clean inner edge of the facing as promised, and what it looks like on the outside. So without further ado, let's get to the attachment of the hemband. So we want this edge to be clean, both along the body and along the edge, and on the inside as well. Now this can be a little bit tricky. I haven't been able to find it anywhere on the internet, but I learned this as an FIT student, so I'd like to share this with you. So here is the jacket front. This is the bottom side where the hemband's going to be attached. And we have this finished edge. So we're going to take our hemband and put the seam allowance, which is 1/2 inch for me, right outside of the finished edge of the vest right here. And we are going to pin that after measuring, just to be sure that we have the right spacing. So we have that pinned 1/2 inch away from the finished edge. And we're going to pin along the whole rest of the body hem, and I'll show you a second variation that isn't very far off from this on the other side. And of course, make sure that your seams match up. You can mark the center back as well to make it easier for you to line things up. Alright, and for the variation, what you could do is fold this back at the edge. And I'll show you how that makes a difference. So I pinned it here as if it's sewn down so you can see the effect. As you'll just fold back all of it and then do a 2-for-1 stitch and stitch all the way across. Now my machine is definitely not able to handle that, so I'm going to be doing the first variation like what I did on the other side here. So then we'll go ahead and sew that down, and I'll show you the next step after that. Also make sure that you don't sew over this edge, as it makes it a little bit harder to turn for the next step. So you can just back tack right here, and then we'll fold it over. Once you have this seam sewn, you'll grade the seam, so you'll cut this in half. This is the body part of the seam allowance. You'll cut that in half, so this will sit all nice and pretty. For the waistband seam, you'll cut that in half, so this will sit all nice and pretty. Then you're going to press the other side of the waistband down for the seam allowance. And once you do that, you'll press this side in. So I'll do that and then come back to you and show you what it looks like. I graded the seam that's in the center of the waistband, and then I pressed this back, and I pressed all along the waistband along here, and then copied the press on the other side. So from here, we are going to fold in the extra that was hanging out on its own over here, and then we are going to fold it to where it covers the stitching right here. And then we're going to make sure this edge is as nice as we can possibly make it, given the thickness. Kind of like that. And then try and make sure that the seam rolls in towards the inside. That way it's not as visible from the outside of the garment. Then we are going to pin that down. Then pin along the rest of the garment, so you'll see I did that. And press this edge so it's as thin as possible. Then we're going to sew along the edge, add a nice edge stitch, as close to the edge as we possibly can. It's gonna go in a giant rectangle all the way around. Trust me when I say these corners are the worst. It will be the trickiest part of sewing, but you will get through it, and hopefully the needle on your machine will too. This is what we want the final result to look like. The stitching on this just ends at the front, so yeah, you could end it at the front, but most outerwear has it go fully along in a nice rectangle. Here's what the inside looks like. So you see they rolled it forward a little bit. And there you go. And there you have it. A nice little hemband that is now all attached. As you can see, I still got through this thickness. I did it by lifting up the presser foot, so that way I could manually feed in the fabric no matter how thick it got. I did the same on the side seams, but you can see where I might have pushed the fabric a little bit too much. You really just have to get used to what your machine can do and then work with that. You do the same method for doing a waistband, you just extend it more so you can make room for the fly. Just make sure that when you pattern the hemband, you leave enough room for a button and a buttonhole to go in there, because there is always a closure at the bottom. And there you have it, a professionally attached hemband to a cute little doggo vest for my buddy Klondike. Now let's get into that sewing machine giveaway that you're all here for. I'll be leaving an official set of rules in the description box below. It includes leaving a comment on why you got into fashion design and a few things you enjoy about it. As for the sewing machine, it's a lovely old and reliable Kenmore sewing machine. It does all your basic stitches for when they close the studios at 2 a.m. and you still need to sew. Trust me, at that time in the morning, any working sewing machine will do. There is a time limit to when you can enter. I will be picking the winner next Tuesday, and I will be announcing them in my video next Thursday. So good luck, and I can't wait to hear from the fashion design community. So thank you all for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video and found something useful. If you are new to this channel and haven't done so already, feel free to subscribe. I put out new videos every Thursday and sometimes Friday. And I'll be seeing you in the next video. Bye! Which is how to attach a waistband to what? Hemband, 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 hemband. New look into how to attach a hemband.